Hey you guys, welcome back to The Bean Cloud. Today we're in Fort Lauderdale's Fat Village, and I'm here to talk to you today about how I learned how to solo travel so that you can get started. But before we do that, make sure to like and subscribe for more content. Now let's get into it. So the first time I decided to solo travel, I went to New Orleans. I remember I was laying down in my bed in the middle of the night. I saw a good price and I bought the ticket, not knowing who was going to come with me, not knowing what I was going to do with it. My intentions, of course, was to travel on my own. I just wasn't sure if I was quite ready for it yet. So I had the ticket already. I got bold enough, bought the ticket. I decided after that I wanted to start planning through creating an itinerary for myself. As I was creating my itinerary, I realized I started to get a little bit nervous. Things start coming up and I started texting all my friends at the last minute. Hey man, can you come with me on this trip? I need somebody to come with me. You know, I was getting really scared. So the day came for the trip, and as soon as I got in my Uber and I got to the airport, everything just kind of went away. My comfort level came back to me. I was able to get there. I had a great time by myself. I also learned a lot of things on the way that will benefit you all when you decide to take that first step into traveling on your own. Let me give y'all a couple tips on that. First, just book the flight. Just book it. Once you do that, you won't be as afraid anymore. It doesn't take that much courage just to book the flight. And a lot of times if you're booking something cheap and you decide, at the last minute, I'm too scared to go, you've only lost this little bit of money for this ticket. It's not a big deal. Just book it. That's your first step. Find somewhere you want to go, or find somewhere that's a good price. Make plans to do it. Don't overthink it, because as soon as you start to overthink it, you're going to back out. Have an understanding of what you're afraid of that keeps you from solo traveling. Dissect it and you'll begin to fear it less. I found that if you take people out of the experience, all you have are buildings and streets. So what I was really afraid of at the time was people. And it was mainly people who were just different from me. I was always afraid to socialize, but I began to practice that while I was at home, going out more. I would go out to dinner with myself. I would go out, have a drink at the bar, go to museums, go to different places alone to kind of teach myself how to be by myself. And it's not an uncomfortable thing or a sad thing. It's more like you getting to know yourself, which should be essentially your best friend. So once you get a hold of that, solo traveling seems less uncomfortable and less scary when you find yourself loving yourself and enjoying your own company. Make sure you build an itinerary for yourself. If you're able to get familiar with the area, see what attractions are around, what things you will be absolutely interested in doing, write all that stuff down. Find out how long it's going to take to get from one place to the next so that you know time-wise what you have going on. And make sure you make your itinerary as full as possible, because when you're by yourself, you're not hanging out with your friends, walking around. It's not taking you an hour to get something done. You're moving pretty quickly when you're by yourself because you're not communicating with anyone else. So make sure that you have a bunch of things on your list to do. I made sure that when I was in New Orleans, I went on many tours. I walked around a lot. I went to a lot of bars. I went to a lot of restaurants. I saw a lot of different sights and things. That helped me to feel like I was never by myself at any point, especially when you're doing the group tours. You're amongst other people and you can make friends that way. There are little ways to get around creating a very large itinerary. Look for a video from me soon on how to build a very good itinerary for yourself. That'll be coming soon. It's not gonna happen now, but it'll happen eventually, so that I can teach you guys how that works and how you can make that itinerary the best possible itinerary. I will admit I made this as a mistake the first time that I traveled, but I'm so happy to know this now. Make sure to Google Maps the location of your Airbnb. Do not book your Airbnb blind, because you will end up in the hood somewhere, or you will end up somewhere where you don't really want to be. That's maybe far away from all the attractions. From now, what I do is when I do my Airbnb, of course, I go ahead Google Maps, and on Google Maps, you can see visually the area that you're going to be in. And that kind of helps me to get an idea of, of course, of what I'm around. Safety. This might have been my number one concern while I was solo traveling. But here are a few things that I did to make sure I felt more comfortable and less worried about my safety. So the first thing that I would definitely advise is that you be aware of your surroundings. Check your Airbnb room for cameras. Bring your cell phone in the bathroom with you at all times, and this applies to being in your Airbnb room. God forbid anybody comes into your room, whatever the case, you have your cell phone right there ready for you to call whoever you need to call to get your help help. I was in an apartment, so I left my TV on while I was out. So that's also something that you can do if your Airbnb is in a condo or a hotel or anything where there's like a bigger gathering of people. Just keep your TV on so that they think that there's somebody else in the room with you or someone else in the room while you're away. I always check all my Airbnb rooms for cameras. I look under the bed. I look in some of the oddest places. You know, it's not meant for you to make yourself immediately feel, you know, uncomfortable with being in an Airbnb, but it's just taking extra precaution to make sure that nothing crazy is going on. Definitely check the room for cameras. When getting into an Uber, a Lyft, or a taxi, always pretend like you're on the phone meeting your brother or your father somewhere, just so that people don't think that you're alone. Make conversation with your Uber drivers and utilize that to kind of feel them out. It's also a really good way to get to know more about what's going on locally. Instead of always doing the touristy things, get to know your Uber driver because it pays in the end for both safety and for information. Lastly, make sure to flood your timeline with things about your trip that's going to get you super duper excited. Make sure to follow Instagram pages of the area that you're going to be in, follow all the food blogs of that area, join Facebook travel groups, do all types of things that's going to help you in seeing your trip come to life throughout your entire time waiting before you get to your takeoff time. That helps me a lot with keeping me from being so afraid, because then you just get more excited than afraid of what's going on and what's happening. So make sure to have just, you know, even Pinterest boards. I love to build up my Pinterest board for my destination and just look at it every day. That way I'm just so ready to go. All right, you guys, so it got really hot out there. So we're gonna do a little bit of voiceover, but anyway, thank you for watching this video. I really hope that it helped you in some kind of way. Please tell me in the comments below what's going to be your first solo travel destination. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video and it helped you. See you guys in the next video. Bye.